Hey there folks, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So, the last episode we recovered a whole bunch of our science and we were able to get some new parts. And we are going to be using those parts to do some cool new things. And we only have 0.9 science left, and a couple of you have been complaining, rightfully so, because I've been screwing up. I should not be sending some of my data, I should just be keeping it and recovering it. Because I will get more science from just recovering the data than transmitting it en route. So the only time I would really want to transmit data is when I don't think I'm going to be making it back to Kerbal, or I can redo tests multiple times. So that's something that I need to take note of. So we don't have any active missions right now, and we should probably make some. So let's see, what do we want? We could test some rocket engines, explore the Mun. Now that would be awesome. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to do that though, because I don't know if we have enough parts. We need space tape and fuel lines at least to be able to make it to the Mun, at least with my limited capabilities. We could try to rescue Kuriki Kerman from orbit. That would be very hard, at least at the moment, because I don't think we have a lot of RCS, and we need RCS to help maneuver ourselves. We could test the Rockomax BACC solid fuel rocket booster, landed at Kerbal. Okay, we could try that. So, an evidently overworked team working late hours at Rockomax Conglomerate would be the first to admit that no amount of theory would be enough to prove that if the rumors of the Rockomax BACC solid fuel were really as positively stupid as we told everyone they were. It can't be denied, however, that the amount of times that there would be a lacking crash landing was quite clearly part of the reason. Anyhow, as a result of the apparently descent chain of events, this is where you come in. So we want you to test the Rockomat BACC solid fuel booster landed at Kerbal. Trivial, or the prestige is trivial, blah blah blah. Objective to test, activate the part through the staging sequence when all test conditions are met. So, test the solid fuel booster incomplete. Kerbal landed incomplete. So essentially it needs to be on the ground when we launch it. So I think we can manage that. So that's the BACC solid fuel booster. We will do that one. Close that. Go in here. There we go. Where's the BACC solid rocket? There we go. It's just going to be a simple rocket. I'm not going to do any science on this mission. Just going to be gathering a little prestige and money. I shouldn't say we're not going to do any science. That would be not true. We're probably going to do some, I don't know. Maybe we'll do some EVAs when we're landed and gather some ground datas. 3 parachutes should be enough. Let's make sure our staging is correct, because I always screw that up. There we go. We'll launch that, and then we launch the 4 parachutes. We'll slap one of these guys on, just because we can. Any science? Could do a science junior, maybe. We could do some science on Kerbal. I don't think we've done that yet. And that should be fine. We'll put one of these on here. Probably we won't use it, but in case we want to. We'll put that one right here. Do we have any control? Nope, no SAS. That's fine. This one's just going to be the Rockomac booster. Booster test rocket. There we go. We'll save that and we will launch it. And let's see here. We have done EVA in the water. We've done EVA north of the Space Center. However, we have not done it in the highlands, which are over here. You can see the mountains in the distance, kind of. So we're actually going to be burning east. However, we're going to speed up time a bit until it's light out. I love how the stars rotate. This is a very, very beautiful game. Oh, God. Okay, there we go. So we're going to try to land somewhere over there and get some useful science. Ooh, solar panels or something. All right. Not that we need to turn our throttle up. You ready, Jeb? I'm ready. Turn our SAS on and go. All right. Let's just burn this way a bit. Alright, we're going to have a successful flight by the look of it, assuming I don't deploy my parachutes early. We're going to do all our science when we're on the ground over there. Jeb is loving it, as always. Right now, where are we going to land according to this? Okay. We need to have some more lateral velocity. We have enough upward velocity. There we go. Now we're cooking. Okay. Alright, we successfully did everything. Let's take a look at our trajectory. Okay, so we're not going to even make it close to the mountains. However, what we will do is we will deploy the parachutes soon enough. Turn off our SAS. There's no need for it anymore. Then we're going down like a lawn dart. There we go. 4 parachutes should be ample. We'll probably recover everything, so that'll be nice. We need to save up some money if we're going to do the MUN missions, because making a rocket that size is probably going to cost a lot. Alright, let's speed up a little bit until we reach about 500 meters when the parachutes will all deploy. And apparently that works, and because they're all deployed, we can just fast forward our way all the way down to the bottom, or all the way down to the ground, which is probably going to be somewhere around 100 meters above sea level, probably. Well, we can see our shadow already. Alright, and success. And we're going to tip. Hopefully we don't break our capsule. Well, we broke our Science Junior. Well, that's alright. Even though that's kind of a bummer, but we will do a crew report. We'll keep the data. We will do an EVA. Oh, well, let's rotate ourselves so the hatch is not obstructed. EVA. Oh my god, we're alright, Jeb. Let us take a surface sample, keep data, EVA report. Nah, we don't get anything from it. And we're going to recover him, get a little bit of science from it. But the main objective of this particular mission was just to get the prestige and stuff. Hey, we got 15 science, not bad. And a little bit of reputation, not much. Let's go to the tracking center and recover the rest of the vessel. Let's fly that guy. Recover the vessel. Get some science from this one as well, I'm assuming. Yep, 17 science. Perfect. I think there's one more thing that we can recover. Nope, that's just a flag. Well, that's good. We'll go back to the... I think we're just going to go back to the vehicle assembly building, and we're going to just do a purely science mission dedicated to exploring the interior of space. Okay, so we're going to use the Command Pod Mark 1 because that's the only thing we can use. Alright, let's see what other parts we can use. What we're going to try to do is, we've only gotten into low orbit around Kerbal so far. We're going to try to get into high orbit around Kerbal, or maybe even do an intercept with the MUN. We're not going to land on the MUN, but we're going to maybe get a gravity assist by the MUN, do some science over the MUN if we have enough delta V to reach it. And then we're going to go back to Kerbal, land, and get all of our science. Hopefully that will be enough to... It'll be enough to get some more parts. Ooh, that's cool. Ooh. Anyhow, I'm getting distracted. So, we have some radial decouplers, which are very useful, which we are definitely going to use. Alright, and we're not going to do that. We need a Science Junior on there. And we're also going to put 4 parachutes. Oh, maybe 3. 3 parachutes should be fine. We're going to make sure that the Science Junior can open up. That should be fine. Well, actually, you know what? We'll just put them on manually. We'll put them on the other sides of these little yellow markers, these little danger signs, so I'm guessing that's as far as we should put them. Right, there we go. Okay, we're gonna definitely need some battery packs for a long mission. Put these battery packs further down. 4 of them should be fine. Maybe we can put some, we'll put a ComSat on it in case we want to use it for something. And a goo containment unit. Maybe we'll even put 2. Maybe if we can get one above, use one above the high orbit of Kerbal, and one, if we make it to the Mun, that would be pretty cool. Otherwise we can just collect extra datas, which is never a bad thing. Now we need to put a massive rocket underneath it. Hopefully we have enough space bucks to do this all. So how much do these usually cost? Okay, they don't usually cost too terribly much. We'll do 2 of those. We'll put the gimbaling engine here. Radial decoupler, we'll have 5 of them, or 6 of them apparently. That should be fine. Put them there. Put them there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this to single symmetry, because we're going to still have 2 gimbaling engines being fired, and the rest will be these heavier engines. There we go. So the idea is these 6 engines will fire. We will have 2 gimbaling engines, which will help us steer, because we really don't have much SAS on this at the moment. And then these guys will break away. We'll have this stage. Hopefully this will probably get us into the upper atmosphere, maybe mid-atmosphere. This will get us into the upper atmosphere, possibly in orbit. And this will hopefully get us to a Mun intercept and back again. At least that's the plan. Maybe we'll add some extra fuel tanks to it. Okay, let's see if we can get that. There we go. So we'll label this the Munceptor Mark 1. We'll save it, make sure our staging is correct. So we have these 6 engines going off. Separate, engine goes off. Separates, engine goes off. Wait, that separates? No. There we go. Okay, so these engines go off. The 6 things separate. Then this engine goes off. And this separates. Then we can actually, I suppose we can have another stage where that engine goes off then. Okay. There we go. And let's see if we can make it into space. I guess the main goal of this entire series is to see if we can actually make it to another planet, or maybe even another moon of another planet. Because that would be pretty cool. Like if we look at the map, if we zoom out, I would like to make it to Jewel, or maybe even Edu, but we'll see. In due time, we will see. I just realized because we have different engines, the fuel rate might not be even, so Hopefully they all run out at the same time or near the same time, but it looks like that engine has, or these two engines have a little bit more fuel left, so they might be burning for a tad bit longer. Alright. But hopefully that shouldn't cause an issue. Alright. And we're burning up. Our speed is right where it should be. We don't want to really go above 300 meters per second while we're in the lower atmosphere. However, we're getting high enough we should start to do a gravity burn. Still don't want to go to the 90 degree or 45 degree yet. Alright, now that we're 10,000 meters up, we can really throttle it up, and we can really start to burn towards this marker over here. And I just realized because we don't have Separatrons, we might blow off the bottom stage. Of course, I forget something. But that'll happen. Maybe if we're lucky, they won't break off the rest of the rocket. Alright. I'm burning. We should really start doing our gravity burn now. We're still actually increasing velocity. Let's wait until the wiggle dies down a bit. Oh yeah! Perfect! Let's take a look at our orbit. Let's zoom in quite a bit. Okay, so our apoapse is in space, which means we can really start cranking it over now. We're almost 50,000 meters up. There we go. We're set. Maybe we can burn a little bit up yet. Alright. Jeb is, he's not really loving it, but he's indifferent right now. He's like, oh, whatever. This happens every day for me. Alright, how is our electricity doing? Pretty good on electrical charge because that has, or that produces electricity, so that's good. In fact, we can probably do, crew report. Nah, discard the data. Reset experiment. There's no data to be gained. Let's burn up a little bit. We'll burn towards the prograde right now. And we're making good distance. There's KSP way down there. We are in space at the moment, but right, what I'm going to do is, now that we're around 100,000 meters at our apoapse, I'm going to angle this thing over, and when we get to our apoapse, we're going to burn again. Alright, just turning on the engine a little bit to, there we go, to even out where we're supposed to be. Alright, once we get to about 100,000 meters, we're going to start burning. Okay, there we go. And full throttle. There we go. That's where we want to be burning. And it looks like we're going to reach orbit pretty soon. The orbit is expanding. Well, the trajectory is expanding, and it will reach an orbit soon enough. Looks like we might actually have enough to make a Mun intercept. We're going to have a little bit of fuel left in this stage, and we're going to have all the fuel left in this stage, and that's a very fuel-efficient rocket, so that's cool. And periapse is in space. Good. And I'm going to do the old-fashioned way of making it to the Mun. As soon as we see the Mun, we're going to start burning towards it. Don't see it yet. It's going to be right around the corner, though. There it is. Okay. Now let's burn towards our apoapse. Whoops. Or burns towards prograde until we reach said Mun. increasing our orbit. At the very least, we're certainly going to get quite a bit of science from the upper orbit of Kerbin. I wonder how much fuel we have left. Oh, we still have enough. And soon enough we're gonna reach it. Soon enough, soon enough, soon enough. There we go. Perfect. And because we have a periapse, we're not gonna actually run into the Mun. It's gonna be a very wonky orbit, but when we're at our apoapse, we can then burn retrograde and we'll come right down to Kerbin. It's gonna be a hot landing, but we're gonna make it. And we still have a little bit of fuel left in this. Awesome. And turn off our SAS so we don't burn fuel, or burn electricity. And let's enjoy the ride. And we're coming closer to the Mun. Well, we're certainly leaving Kerbin's influence. Alright, let's slow down the time warp a bit. Look at the map. Gonna speed up the time warp a bit now. Alright, and here comes the Mun. Speaking of which, because we're not into the Mun influence yet, we will do a observe the mystery goo, see what it has to say. The goo feels right at home here. We are going to keep the data. It's going to be 10 science if we recover it, so let's keep it. And we're gonna go a little bit further. There we go. And we are in the Mun influence now. We are going to be in a high orbit, well, not technically orbit, but influence above the Mun. And we're going to do some science here. Okay. Observe the material space. See how much we get from this. 75 science. We are so keeping that. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with this. Materials studies while in high space over the Mun. Keep the data. Also, crew report. Another 15 science. We're actually going to transmit this data. You look down at the cold gray surface, it looks really beat up with craters. Because we're going to get the same amount of science if we recover it, so we're going to transmit this data. There we go. 15 science added. We actually didn't use as much electricity as I thought, so that's awesome. Let's see here. What else can we do? Let's do an EVA. Alright. Ooh. Let us do an EVA report. You've recorded your observations about the situation. 24 science, we're going to just keep the data. We don't want to use up too much of our electricity at the moment, because we can do some more stuff when we are in low orbit, or in low space above Kerbin. Uh-oh. Don't crash. Let's see if we can get back in. Grab that. Oh no! That was bad. No, don't go away, rocket. We need you. Ow. Well, I guess your head works as a brake. Oh no! The materials bay is getting in the way. Alright, hopefully we can make it back. Oh, I'm sure we can. Alright, let's get back to you. Okay, there we go. Our velocity's zeroed for the most part. Now we just need to grab on. Alright, oop, slow down. There we go. We got this. Oh, maybe not. Come on, there you go. There we go. Whew. That was a bit more intense than I would have liked, but we're fine. And Jeb is enthralled. He's like, oh yeah, that was fun. Alright. Let's take a look at our map. Let's increase our speed a little bit. We're going to get so much science from this. It's going to be awesome. Well, we're not going to do any science. We don't actually have anything we can do unless we transmit all the data, but that will use up all of our electricity. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait until we get to our apoaps. We're going to burn retrograde, and we're going to go from there. Could do some science high above Kerbin. However, we can actually just reuse this craft design and do the same thing over and over again if we wanted to farm some science. But I don't feel like being cheaty, so we won't do that. And we're in the apoaps, so let's slow down as slow as we can go. Burn retrograde. Oop, stop. Hammer time. No. Let's burn towards the retrograde, which is right over here. And lock it. There we go. Burn, 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 burn. Disco Inferno. There we go. Let's see, how is this doing? Alright, the periaps is shrinking dramatically. Awesome. And... okay, we almost got another encounter with the Mun, which we really don't want. Okay, that's good. We ran out of fuel in this stage, so we're going to separate and launch the next stage. There we go. In fact, we have plenty of fuel. We should not have an issue whatsoever getting back to Kerbin. Okay, we still have a 500,000 meter periaps. We want it to be a lot less than that. Okay. Okay, well, let's just burn full throttle. Okay, oh, I think that'll do it. Yep, we are going to be landing at Kerbin. Thusly. Alright. Let's increase our speed. Or increase our time warp, I should say. Our speed is going to be increasing, as you see. And I don't want to time warp through the planet, because that would be unfun, and it would cause certain death. Alright, we are going incredibly quick at the moment. Alright, let's take a look. Where are we? We are coming in hot. Doesn't matter, Jeb's loving it. That's all that matters. Oh crap, did I forget to do science over the Mun with this? I did. Derp. Well, let's observe it. That could have been another, like, 75 science. Well, we make mistakes. That's just the way it goes. However, I would call this a successful mission so far, and we're going to be reaching the atmosphere now. Alright, how much electricity do we have left? We're going to turn that off. We are coming in blazing hot at, what is it, 3,200 meters per second, which is quick, to say the least. Can burn to slow us down a little bit. It'd actually be nice to land in here in the highlands to get some science. out. I don't know if we're actually going to make it to the highlands. We might just burn right past it. Well, hence the reason I'm using the rocket right now. The atmosphere is probably going to do a better job of slowing us down. Okay, we are slowing down. We might actually make it into some of the highland areas. We might not make it past it, which would be cool. Alright, let's see. So, plenty of electrical charge. And because this thing is shaped so well, it's actually burning almost perfectly towards our retrograde, which is awesome. Without even having to use SAS. Okay. Well, that's good enough. Now let's just fall down, and we should make it to the surface fairly soon. In fact, we can deploy our chutes right now. Because I'm guessing these mountains are a little bit above 500 meters. And if they don't deploy, we'll have our rocket that we're able to use. And then Jeb can go out and do an EVA, get a surface sample. And we'll be able to recover this and get a whole bunch of science from it. Let's speed this up a bit. Don't want to speed it up too much. Oh, crap. Oh, there we go. Right in time. I don't see our shadow yet. Then again, yeah, there's the sun. What is the Kerbal name for the sun? I actually don't know that. Okay, ooh. We're going to be landing very soon. There we go. Oh god, don't break. Don't break my science. Well, that's really unfortunate. Well, I guess landing on the side of a mountain is not a good idea. Well, on the bright side, we do have those we can recover. Still, the Science Junior, which had 75 science, is gone. Alright. And there is stored data in here, so it's nice that that didn't break. So we're going to do an... Well, not an IVA, but an EVA. Take surface sample. A little bit of science. We're going to keep data. And we're going to recover him. 9 science. Could be better. Let's go back to the tracking center and reclaim the rest of our science from the Munceptor. And there is some science that's already stored inside of the capsule, so hopefully we'll get a lot of science from that. 36 science. Not as much as we could have had. We could have had over 100 science, but it will do. And we got some funds from the recovered parts. Not a lot, but it'll do. So now we have some science. We can research the next thing. However, we could get space tape instead. Don't have enough science for these. Flight control. Oh, this actually requires flight control, which we don't have yet. However, we do have this, which we could research. This would be nice, but we don't need it as of now. However, I would like some struts, some launch stabilizers, some better decouplers, and tri-stack couplers. So we're going to research that. Alright, what's next on the line? Ooh, structural fuselage, so mostly stuff for flying. Ooh, Rockomax brand adapter. So pretty soon we're going to be able to start connecting things to other things in space. This is mostly jet stuff over there. Alright, cool. Well, take a look at the science archives. Oh yeah, look at all the science. So we have these biomes that we have research stuff from. Oh, we do have one high space report from the mystery goo and flying high, but that's that. I think next episode we'll be doing some other cool stuff. Maybe we'll actually be able to land on them on, well, maybe not land on it, but we'll certainly get enough science that we'll be able to soon enough. So I think that'll be it for this episode. Thank you folks for watching, and I will see you folks next time.